What's up everyone, my name's Gary, and today I'm here at Tunnel Hill.
Tunnel Hill, located in southern Illinois, is about 10 miles north of the town of Vienna. This place is one of the stops on the Tunnel Hill State Trail, which is a 45-mile bike trail that begins in Harrisburg, Illinois, and extends all the way to the wetlands in Karnak. This trail was once a railroad that was built in the 1870s and was funded by the Civil War general Ambrose Burnside. This railroad extended all the way from Vincennes, Indiana to Cairo, Illinois. It was during this time that many small railroad towns popped up, with Tunnel Hill being one of them. From the 1890s to the 1940s, it was leased to the Big Four Railroad. The last railway company to use this route was the Norfolk Southern Railroad. In 1998, the last train whistle was blown, thus ending over 100 years of railroad history. Norfolk handed the right-of-way over to the state of Illinois in 1991. And 10 years later, in 2001, it was opened up as the Tunnel Hill State Trail. Today, the Tunnel Hill segment boasts the only tunnel on the trail.
So before 1929, this tunnel was 800 feet long, but there was a collapse and about 300 feet of it just disappeared. So that clear water we saw before is not so clear anymore. It almost looks like an algae that's on it. I know it's probably from a mineral within the rocks themselves here, because you can see some red layers in here. This stuff is super crumbly, and it's supposed to contain trace fossils. Yeah, so you can see this area is still very active. So it looks like we may have a layer of sandstone on top of the shell here. And this looks pretty recent because it's not been cleaned up or anything. Something there. Yeah, so a large slab that's fell off here. And it looks pretty recent also because this was growing on top of that somewhere. We'll see if we can turn this. Oh, that is deep. Let's get out of there. Oh, that is heavy. Nothing there though. Back over. See how this just crumbles here. Okay, so we're gonna check this place out. So I'm wondering if this may not be what they're considering trace fossils. Not so sure. Yeah, so this is almost like a perfect layer. Look at that. Got one here. Yeah, so that's like chapters of a book. Yeah, we'll keep a lookout. Really cool how this layer has continued to thicken as we go along here. I don't really know how tall this is. This is just a great way to get out there and see geology for yourself, because I believe once we go through this tunnel, we get a totally different type of rock. Can you imagine the noise in here as a train would have come through here? I mean, it would just been deafening. So I've rode my bike through here and it gets really disorienting. And the reason is, as you're traveling, it doesn't feel like you're moving anymore. So it is really weird. So if you do come through here with a bike, you may want to have a light, or you may want to walk it or just slow down, because it is a very disorienting area. Yeah. So look at that. First thing I pop up on is a bat here. Bat in the tunnel. Get my finger out of there. So even though you think you may be alone in this tunnel, you're not. Are there any more bats? But yeah, I'm sure they had to do work on this over the years, because I can't see how this would have been original. It's almost 100 years old. Cool area to have available for public use. So as you leave the tunnel, you come into a totally different environment, meaning that you're no longer in the land of shell, you are in the land of sandstone. So that should be obvious when you come out of that tunnel. This also says 1929. Look at this bolt here. that has the potential to be a 100-year-old boat. This is transition from the tunnel to the rock outside. So we've got sandstone, and then you can see that it turns into shell right back up there. So that's pretty cool. So it would seem that this would be laying under that layer of shell. I don't know if that's correct, but yeah, there's a little bit of shell up at the top here. Yeah, just as we saw before on the other side with the shell, the sandstone is active also. Yep, there goes a biker. Seems like the rock gets wider in this portion here. Seems like it opens up a little bit more. What that might mean is like this area here, from here to here, this very well could have been a 300-foot section that fell, that collapsed. Now, we also have a rock over here. We've got a borehole here. Look at that. That may have been for dynamite for blasting. But if this was for blasting, why has this still remained? Because it looks like it's fell off right here recently. Well, what's also cool about this rock is this right here. Could this be our first trace fossil? That does look like a line that a worm or something would have crawled through. Here's one also, right through there. But it does look totally different from the rest of it. So as we go over here, this is just a silty mud that's been created from this. Huh. Look at that. That is like a round nodule. This right here is the end to it. Huh. That is really interesting. Piece of rock here. Oh yeah, look at that. I mean, it almost looks like a cookie or something like that. Put that back there. Yeah, it is. Oh my gosh, look at that. And that's what this sandstone is built upon. Huh. Now this looks like maybe a shell imprint at one time, but what I thought was interesting was this section here. If that's not a trace fossil, I don't know what is, because look at it. It's got little ridges here, down below. Yeah, that's just really interesting. Okay, so you can see the tunnel way down there. There's a creek here. And this creek looks like it runs up this valley, because there is a lot of rock in here to be just from up there. So I'm gonna find out where this creek is coming from. So I saw a little cut back here. Yeah. So there is in fact a creek across here. We're gonna go check it out because the state owns from so much from side to side here that the railroad owned. Don't want to be on anybody's property, and we're just gonna kind of follow this up. Oh, so this is cool. So we've got railroad ties up here. Right down there is the railroad track, or the former railroad track. Yeah, these ties have just been tossed up here, forgotten. Is this coal? Oh my gosh, look at that. That is a waterfall. Oh my goodness. Who would have thought a waterfall would have been on this trail? I have to be careful in here because this looks like prime snake habitat. I haven't seen anything so far, but I've got to be careful for things underneath. And you can see how this rock is cracked here, and it is just waiting to separate. So I'm not going to mess with that one. Yeah, just some crazy layers here. Look at that layer there. Yeah, this is cool. So I'm on top of the waterfall now. Like I said, I think most of the drainage now is going through the side here. So this is not out of the question of seeing this flow completely over. And right down here is the path. And if I wouldn't have come up here and followed that creek, I would have had no idea that there's a waterfall right here. So this is interesting. Now I'm wondering if this was not extracted from down below. So when they was dynamiting and digging this tunnel, what did they do with the excess? Did they track it back down? That would seem the most obvious, but where would they have put that rock? But this is just weird. So, I mean, this is just a jumble of rocks. It just really doesn't make any sense where it is. Now that one looks natural. And that one over there looks natural, but this does not look natural. Because there's a flat section over here where my camera is. They could have had a crane or something, or a bucket that brought it up here. There's a borehole. Is that a borehole? There's another borehole right there. Yeah, so I think this does have something to do with them extracting the rock from down here. They just brought it up here to get it out of the way. Yep, so here's another hole here. So that's the third one. There's one right there. Where's the other one at? One up there. Oh, here's one here. Another one there. Yeah, so this was the section that I thought might have been the beginning of the collapsed tunnel here. So this kind of all falls in line with that theory.
Although at first it wasn't obvious to me, I do believe these rock piles on top were part of the collapsed tunnel section from 1929. If you know of any information on the 1929 tunnel collapse, please comment below. The last place I wanted to visit on the trail was Breeden Trestle, which is 2.5 miles south of Tunnel Hill. Out of the 23 trestles on the entire trail, this is the tallest at the height of 90 feet. As you look below, you can see the impressive steel structure that spans 450 feet over this narrow valley. As my time comes to an end at Tunnel Hill, I am thankful that the state has taken the time to preserve this historic former railway and has allowed us to experience the grandeur and beauty of this former lifeline to our past.
Just not for sure. I'm just kind of speculating. What might have...
It's been almost a year since I recorded the footage for this video, and in that time the ditches on both sides of the trail near the tunnel have been cleared for drainage and safety purposes. Thus the rocks where I found the trace fossils have been removed. Even though these rocks have been relocated, I know that with time, new rocks will fall and expose new discoveries just waiting to be explored. This reminds me that my recordings of these areas is also in a sense historical and has the potential to be used as a resource for people that follow in my footsteps, just like when I follow in the footsteps of those who have went before me.
All right, that ends our video today. What a cool area. Saw a lot of different rock formations. Didn't expect that waterfall either. And if you like this video, make sure you hit the like button. If this is your first or second video, make sure you hit that subscribe button. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.